Hello guys, Kirk and family here with Kirk Giordano Plastering. How many of you guys have got some old homes? This one is probably about 100 years old. If you notice, this got old wood lath on it. What is the old resin treated lath? Well, you can get a glimpse of it right there. What happens? Why does it buckle? And where do you actually stop? Well, that part takes a little time in. I was here, I just looked at it, and I come to the conclusion the house is 100 years old. This is buckling about 6 inches. You can see it right here. Now, why did this part buckle? Because it's old. And movement, rain. We're on a very busy street. The cars go up and down. They build houses. Movement. These rafters here. When they cut this, they made a pretty cool design, but what happened was on these right here, they didn't seal the top. Well, they did, but I can feel it. There's wood rot up in here. So when they changed the roof, now the roof here has just been recently done about 10 years ago. They stepped out right here. This pushed these down, buckled this. Is it a big deal? Not really. They've got many patches all around this whole house. But here are the tricks of the trade, the tools of the trade when you do this. Before I put my mask, I'm just going to give you an idea. Now, we tarped off all the ground because this stuff comes right off. Now, they asked me, well, where do you stop? And I said, well, I'm going to take the whole face off and this whole face here because it's loose. And they said, well, how do you know? And I said, well, I don't. I'm just going by what I've been doing for the last 30 years. I know this is loose. I can see it. So we go corner to corner, and I know this is loose. Why? Let me drop down here and show you. Okay, they've got vibration here. Now, again, what causes vibration? Well, these nails, where you put your Christmas lights on, all these nails right here, you're pounding in this stuff. You're not really supposed to pound in, so I told her, once we remove all this stuff, screw them next time, and you'll hit wood, because this is old resin-treated wood. Where are we going to stop? Well, can you see that? You see all that stuff coming out? Okay, we're going to take it right to here, to the corner, to that corner. There's already about 10 or 15 patches on here. And then we're going to put wire mesh here, and we're going to put 3.4 mesh here. When we get to that stage, we'll show you. One of the things we do after we remove this, should we gouge out all this cement in these keys? Forget it. Take us 3 days. Instead, we're going to take a water hose, wash it all off, get rid of all the dust. Why? Because nothing adheres to dust. Then we're going to put some weldcrete over this. Then we're going to wire it. It's a lot of efforts, but if you put stucco over a dusty surface, it'll come right off. Anyway, we're going to get busy and yank this stuff off real quick because we can. When we get to the next stage, we'll show you that part too. Okay guys, we're done with that nasty chore of break off. Wear a mask. We couldn't show you. We had to cover all this, cover the ground, cover everything. Once you get that off, what I did is I took a water hose and I hosed all of this down. Why? Because the dust, nothing adheres to dust. And plus, it goes in the air, and afterwards when you're done, you take your mask off. The last thing you want to do is inhale this nasty stuff. I don't know what's in it. It could have all kind of stuff. They promised me no lead in it. They had it tested. They've said that it had nothing in it. I said, so in other words, it's good for us, right? To inhale it? Not right. You don't want to inhale this stuff. Anyway, I'll show you what the next phase is. That way you say, hey, Kirk, I did this or that and it didn't work. This is this wire here is just regular stucco wire. Now we're going to put this 17 gauge on the face. But before we put that on the face, I'm going to hit it with full strength weldcrete. Weldcrete is blue. Why am I using full strength? Because when I put this wire on, I want the stucco to go through the wire, and it's got to adhere to this wood as well as this cement plaster right here. Again, some of it came out, but most of it didn't. I didn't expect it to. And when we do the soffit, here's soffit mesh or ceiling mesh. This is 3.4. That goes up here. Why? Because if we use this 17 gauge wire, the holes are so big that it'll just keep falling out. So you guys watch what we're doing. You don't say, well, Kirk, you didn't show me this part, and everything I did loosened up. Talking with a good friend of mine, Larry Beelman, the other day, contractor. He says, Kirk, we're working inside. You know what they did is they put wire over the wood lath. and it's all coming off. I said, well, that's because they didn't have the luxury of taking a water hose and washing all the dust off. So it was inside, and they put a wire over it, and they stuccoed that, so all that plaster is coming off of that wall. So we don't want that to happen here. This will last longer than I'll be alive. Anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and wire this, and when we get to the cement work, we'll show you that, because this is a dash finish. It's kind of cool. It's easier than it looks, but it still does take some practice. Anyway, Lou and Carl are covering up again because we got rid of that nasty stuff. So next phase, we'll show you that part too, guys. All right, guys, we had an error with the camera. This 17 gauge wire is on. Everything is blue, and you can see the blue all over the place. That's so the cement doesn't separate. I haven't gotten to this part yet, but this is a 3.4 mesh, and we have our corners here. The 17 gauge wire is here. All right, so what Jay and I are doing is working off of this, man, we're teetering. It's like in the ocean. Anyway, we're putting the second coat on. I'll give you a little bit of inside information, guys. We're doing the second coat right now. Back in 1900 to 1920, this cement plaster board was used a lot. It's all over the Gold Coast, all over Oakland, Alameda, and it's basically a resin-treated board. That resin-treated board is designed for plaster to adhere to it. It has keys, so the plaster sticks in those keys. Around 1920 or so, they stopped doing that, and they used to use a line wire. What is a line wire? Well, that is, you get a studded house, and you take the wire, you take the studs, say like a stud here, stud here. You put nails every 6 inches. Then you wrap a wire and stretch it to the next one and go around that nail and stretch it. Why? Because if you don't do that, when you put the paper on the wall to protect the wood, between the bays or the studs, we'd lose so much plaster. So that was line wire. After the line wire, they come up with a better idea. They come up with, how about paperback wire that is embedded with the paper and the wire. That way you can stretch the crap out of it when you come to studs, and you don't have to waste so much cement between the bays. Well, that went on for quite a few years too, and eventually they moved on to 2 layers of paper. They also eventually moved on to shear wall, which today, I don't know about any other states, but in California, you got to have 2 layers of paper, and you have to have shear wall on the house. Anyway, that's just a little bit of insider boring knowledge for how cement plaster was originally used. And of course, they put horse hairs in here, pig hairs, you name it. They put every hair known to man. If it's from an animal, probably from people too, to strengthen this stuff. As far as interior plaster, all that is gypsum. Kind of the same scenario. They put the wood lath, gypsum plaster. So the gypsum, after they started doing gypsum over the wood lath, they went to button board. Button board is made of gypsum. They just figured out a way, hey, put the gypsum instead of by hand, have it pre-made, put 4x sheets on it, and the plaster would adhere through the buttons. They call it button board because it would go through the holes in it, and that's how it would adhere. Today, all of that stuff is pretty outdated. They have drywall sheetrock that's also made of gypsum. In fact, we're doing a job next week that's made of gypsum board inside, and it's called Dens glass. We're going to be covering exterior Dens glass. The plasters are the boards are so intricate. They have different colors for, say, waterproof and moisture barriers and things like that. But that's interior gypsum. Did we lose it? Oh, okay, I thought it went off. Anyway, guys, what we're going to do is finish this second coat here. And when this is dry, we'll show you how we brown it out. And by the way, guys, I'll show you one last thing. This is why we put this 3.4 wire here. Because if we We put 17 gauge wire here. The only thing adhering it would be the bonding agent. But the 17 gauge, it goes into these little bitty holes and sticks. The 17 gauge that we're using here would be falling all over me. All right, guys, these guys just finished laughing at me. I was doing a little spot here and it fell right between my eye. So we were turning off the radio, listening to the weed man and listening to these guys finish laughing. I'll show you the next phase. You guys wouldn't have wanted to see me with cement all over me anyway, right? All right, here's what we're doing now, guys. Now that we got both coats on. And you see this finish? This finish is very, very forgiving, meaning we don't have to be perfect, guys. We can be slightly off, but we put the two coats on. Now we take a derby. Do you need to derby it? You don't have to, but I like to derby everything, make sure everything is rotted somewhat true and plumb. So what I'll do is I'll take the derby here. We're kind of fond to this particular tool. It straightens everything out. We straighten it out, and right here where I got my V, where it comes to that so-called tip of the pyramid, I'll go this way, and I'll take it here and go that way. And as I'm pulling up, I was on the other side, that's where it dropped right in my face. Okay, this time I'm not going to be underneath it. See, we just get that bottom and get the top. And I'll show you a preliminary thing. Guys, if you're going to do this dash finish here, here's a good tip. Now, I could actually use, say if I was to get concrete sand. Concrete sand is a real heavy aggregate. I could almost match that finish, but not quite, because that's a dash. It's a thrown-on finish, or blown on. What I'll do now is, see this green sponge float? This is not a hard rubber float. I don't need to compact this. What I want to do is I want to pull some aggregate out. Sand. I want to pull some aggregate out. That way when I do my dash, it's already got a head start, meaning I've got the grit here. It just gives me a head start. You see that, guys? The more water you put on it, the more aggregate is exposed. Say, for example, this is really dry. Say, I'm going to dry this out, guys. I'm going to dry. Take all the water out of it. Now look. I'll go right here. Now look, with it super dry. It doesn't pull much sand out. The more water that's on it, and the harder you go and the flatter, the more sand is going to come out. We want that because it makes the next coat a lot easier. Next time you see me, I'm going to be throwing a dash on this. We'll float everything, and then I'm going to dash it right here. And we'll probably show you the whole thing when it's finally complete. So you get a good idea in case you guys, you weekend warriors, want to do it yourself. Okay, guys, say you want to be a big-time contractor. You get filthy. I've done this for months at a time, 8 hours a day. That's all I did. By the end of the day, your arm feels like spaghetti. I put some perlite in here to give it that. I didn't want to use gravel. Gravel's too heavy. It sinks to the bottom. Perlite is just right. It gives it that look. And guys, doubtful any of you guys are going to want to do this because this is some dirty stuff. It even got all over my sacred bananas and carrot juice. Anyway, you have to have a man washing behind you, or you could spend forever covering. By the time you cover everything, you can't see what you're doing. So what I'm doing is I got Portland cement plaster in here, and I mixed it with sand. Then I stuck in a bunch of perlite. That's just to give it this rocky look. Could I use gravel? Absolutely. Could I use heavier sand? Absolutely. But this is the easiest. So when I'm going to keep on doing this, and we're just making a big mess everywhere, but that's the nature of a dash finish. I ought to know. I've done days upon days, weeks upon weeks. This is all I did. You come home, you look like a leopard, man. Anyway, we're going to finish it all, clean everything up, and I'll show you the final results. All right, guys. That was a lot of effort, but I did manage to salvage my banana and carrot juice. Anyway, I thought we were going to be out of here in about 4 hours.
Man, without doing this video, it would have only been 2.
That's a fact. We are making ourselves obsolete for your folks' enjoyment so that you can do it yourself. My name is Kirk.
I'm Jason.
We thank you for watching, and as usual, we'll see you guys on the next one. Once again, folks, we thank you for watching, and I really enjoy all your comments.
If you guys like this video, please click the like button down below. And also, if you enjoy what we do, subscribe to our channel so we can keep making these videos for you.
My name is Kirk.
And Jay.
We thank you for watching, and from the entire Giordano family, we'll see you on the next one.